Some say that mysterious Droppa stones, supposedly found in the Chinese mountains, were made by extraterrestrials who crash-landed on Earth 12,000 years ago. UFO researcher David Sereda believes that an astonishing video shot by the NASA space shuttle in 1996 shows mysterious objects shaped like Droppa stones floating in space. Sereda thinks they are extraterrestrial spaceships that he calls NASA UFOs.
There's a stunning resemblance to these Droppa stones and the NASA UFOs. And this stone disc with a round hole in the center, a rectangular notch cut out of the side, and a spiraling groove of ancient written characters, which was identical to what we were seeing on the NASA tapes.
This infrared footage, part of NASA's enormous catalog of space imagery available to the public for review, was shot from the Space Shuttle Columbia, mission STS-75. Dr. Stephen Walton, director of the Donald E. Bianchi Planetarium and astronomy professor at California State University, Northridge, remembers the mission.
On this particular mission, there was an idea of being able to generate electricity by unwheeling a 12-mile-long spool of wire downward from the space shuttle, but unfortunately the wire broke, and the rod that you can see is the broken end of the wire.
The objects appear to travel past the downed wire. This movement has convinced Sereda that they must be UFOs.
These things were all moving at different velocities. They must have internal energy in them to be going different velocities.
Walton has a different opinion.
If you look at the times at which the debris seems to make sudden motions, you find out that those sudden motions occur at the same time as the space shuttle firing its thrusters.
Although neither is certain about the strange pulsing spiral seen on the objects, each has a very different theory of what it could be.
When I freeze frame the pulse, you actually see a spiraling wave radiating out from the center. When we get closer to the objects and we zoom in on, we can see them strobing with these very curious energy waves.
I don't think that the flashing has anything to do with electricity. It looks to me like it's a purely optical effect.
In Dr. Walton's view, the objects in question are nothing more than optical illusions caused by the space shuttle's video camera.
What you're seeing is probably a piece of debris tumbling in the sunlight and flashing on and off. That flashing on and off of this object interacts with the 30 frames per second that a video camera takes.
A simple experiment by Walton may demonstrate this phenomenon.
What I've got in my hand is a white plastic lid from a spray can. You can see that. And if we show that white object to the camera and then make the camera go very far out of focus, you will see that the unfocused image of this white object looks very much like a sort of donut-shaped object, kind of a spherical edge with a hole in the middle.
But some true believers are not convinced.
When you consider the hole in the center, the rectangular notch, and the spiraling wave, all identical when you look at them side by side to the NASA STS-75 UFO in 1996. You've got to ask yourself a lot of questions.
If someone is going to convince me that extraterrestrials are visiting the Earth, a few unidentifiable points of light on a video are not particularly persuasive.
Like Roswell, some ufologists see the STS-75 footage as more evidence of a U.S. government conspiracy to hide extraterrestrials. But conspiracy goes beyond borders. Could the communist government in China have suppressed an even more shocking truth? Just like the physical evidence that is said to have disappeared from the ranch in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947, the physical evidence relating to the Droppa stones has seemingly disappeared.
I've never heard that the Russian scientists gave back those Bayan Karaula stone discs to the Chinese. Very few people after this know what happened to some artifacts.
Until perhaps 1974, when an Austrian engineer familiar with the Droppa story claimed to have made an amazing discovery in China.